What's going on, gamers? Obscure Edge here. Today we're going to be talking about the Necromancer. We're going to be going in a little quick in-depth of my build. Pretty much I would say a lot of people probably run similar to my build, if not the same. So let's just get right into this. I'll show you the skills on the left here for Necro. Obviously you get these as you level them up. These are your like passives essentially that are always on once you reach a certain level. Alright, so going into my build, so straight away you'll see I went across the top. This build is basically all about your lights. Funny enough, is pretty much like all of my builds, or at least similar to, but I do rely on the lights probably the most with Evil Dead Ash. So we got like the balance bars, things like that. The elites, I have some stuff into them just to keep them mobile, but I don't rely on them for the damage. I kind of use the elites similar to a decoy, but giving them the max balance bar allows them to stay in the fight while I get in there with my light enemies to do some more damage and stuff like that. But the majority of all my stuff is into the basics and then Evil Dead Ash as well. So it's all about, originally before the 2013 update, having a lot of skeletons on the screen used to work, and then the more you put, the more dumb I got. So sometimes I would have maybe 10 or so skeletons on the screen, and then I would put Evil Dead Ash, and they would just be cheering and stuff and just surrounding the enemy, but not doing anything. So since the 2013 update, they're obviously a bit more aggressive. So stockpiling a bunch of enemies on the screen that will actually attack while you're doing Evil Dead Ash, as well as obviously resurrecting dead skeletons, spawning new skeletons with him. You could basically overwhelm the survivors quite good. So everything I've put into essentially is into the basic damage and the flutist. Increase the flutist range by 55 meters. It's a must-have on this. Regardless if you're doing an elite build or a light build, you're going to want all the perks into your flutist, maximum health, maximum range, everything like that. Obviously, as you level them up, you get a couple passives for them. Ash relies on that flutist, so it's not just about chucking him down in any kind of way, shape, or form. Finding strategic spots, hiding him behind stuff or on top of things, making the survivors go around, which is obviously losing a player in the fight to go get the flutist, allows you to do damage down to them, or obviously if you just want, you could just go for that person that's solo, things like that. You rely on the flutist for his build. It's just the main thing he runs off of. It's the main buff people get scared about. It just enhances pretty much everything on your minions and stuff like that. Going in with Evil Dead Ash when you have like an undead army up, plus if you're able to pop a flutist up and then spawn Evil Dead Ash, they have to concentrate on a lot of things. They got a lot of enemies, Evil Dead Ash plus the flutist, so that means the team has to work together to think, what do we separate, quickly get that flutist killed, 3 people jump on Evil Dead Ash, or 1 on crowd control, 2 on Ash, and 1 does the flutist. It's things like that. Keep in mind it's 4v1, obviously, so you got to realize you're dealing with 4 separate minds, 4 separate brains, things like that, so you kind of have to sort of build a huge kind of thing that's going on, so they have to kind of work it out how they're going to want to fight you and everything like that. This build is all about those lights, though. Honestly, early game as well. If you catch people early game, chuck a flutist down, drop a couple light enemies in, start poking them to death. They have some good range on them. They're not as speedy as, say, Puppeteers or even Warlord, for instance. They're not as agile and stuff like that, but they do a lot of damage, especially with the flutist, and they could keep them stunned, and they have really good range as well. So when you're obviously using the spear, light hit, and even into heavy and things like that, you could keep them stunned quite well. I don't use a lot of their skills. Sometimes I'll hop on an elite and throw the trident, stuff like that. And then on the light, I also will do, if they're all crowding around me and stuff like that, trying to get a lot of CC on me, I'll pop the number, I believe it's the number 2 skill, and then I'll obviously do a little bit of damage with that. If not, always just pop in your lights, mix in a random heavy once in a while. If you got them stunned quite well, you could do a lot of damage. But this build is all about having basically an undead army, as a necromancer should be anyway. So since the 2013 update, like I said, this build has just been even more viable to this date. Let me know in the comments below what you guys build. I've tried a heavy build with Ash. I'm just not a fan of it, to be honest. Sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't. A lot of it came down to my play style. I just didn't enjoy it, so that's why I've switched to the weaker minion to use, essentially. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this build, of what you're running. Are you running something similar, totally different? Put it in the comment section below, because we're all about helping each other out and obviously becoming better demon players and stuff like that. And just, yeah, obviously spreading that sort of positivity across each other to kind of improve each other's play styles and stuff, or open someone else's mind to a different play style. So anyways, I look forward to reading your comments below. Until next time, happy gaming, and I'll see you guys on the next one.